What's up, everybody? Welcome back to RacingDudes.com. Welcome back to another one of our previews. Well, no rest for the wicked. We're right back at it. Let's go to Belmont at the Big A. Yes, Belmont at the Big A is back. We'll go to Saturday, May 10th. Race 11, last race of the day on the card. It's the Peter Pan Stakes, a prep for the Belmont Stakes. It seems like this is an all-or-nothing prep usually for the Belmont Stakes. Either the horse that wins this one comes back and wins the Belmont, which happens just every now and then sporadically throughout the years, or you look at it and go, well, they didn't make much of an impact at all at the Belmont. So it is kind of an all-or-nothing type of race. Field of 10 here, going a mile and an eighth. Like I said, major prep for the Belmont, which will be, of course, at Saratoga once again this year. All right, let's go through them one by one. Let's give you the top pick, and we'll start with the number one, Vassimo. Vassimo started off the season with two nice wins, one at Gulfstream Park and one at Tampa Bay Downs in an allowance event. Went to the Risen Star where he was fourth, beaten 12.5, and then went back to the Louisiana Derby where he was sixth, beaten 7.5. Irad has been the rider all four times. He'll be the rider again. I think that's a good sign. I think the horse cutting back to a mile and eighth will be good. I think the drop down in class will also be good. But look, I don't think he faced just overly tough competition, I should say, in those two races there in Louisiana. Of course, Magnitude ran great that day in the Risen Star, but Chunk of Gold and Built, I don't also finished ahead of him. I'm not sure those are great horses. Tistastic, I still think could be decent, but then again, Chunk of Gold, Instant Replay amongst others in the Louisiana Derby. So I'm on the fence with him here. I'm not going to play him to win. Wouldn't be shocked if he does, though. I do like that he's getting back amongst his friends, we'll say, in this one. All right, the number two is Happily Delusional. And this horse just has one win and 8 starts, has four second place efforts as well. First time jumping up against the Graded Stakes Company, ran fourth last time out in the Tessio there at Laurel. So not much interest for me in this horse, a little bit low on the speed figure standpoint as well. And like we talk about all the time on these shows or on these previews, sure, like speed figures are not the end all be all by any means whatsoever, no matter which ones you look at. But when you see one that is quite a bit lower than the rest of the group, it does have a cause for concern. That's what we have here. And the class really isn't there with Happily Delusional either. So not a lot of interest in him. The number 3 is Surfside Moon. This is a horse that's had 2 decent races really this year. As a 2-year-old last year, this Pennsylvania bred just had 1 win and 5 starts. I didn't think a whole lot of them. He showed up this year and ran last time out in the Wither Stakes where he got second, beaten 2 1/4. Not bad at 33-1. Certainly not bad at all. Then went to the Tessio last time out at Laurel, trying to maybe, sneak his way into the Preakness. And it was third. He was third, beaten 3 1/4. It wasn't a bad race, really, from him. We'll see what happens. I don't hate this horse. He's definitely just stepped up in just a massive, massive way those last 2 races. So I don't hate him. I think he's a logical log shot. I don't think I'll put him on top, but to use underneath or something like that, I do think he makes sense. The number 4 is Hill Road. We do not have odds out yet, but I believe Hill Road will be the favorite in this race, if I had to guess. Of course, 2 races on the turf overseas before coming over to run on the dirt for the first time in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile last year, where he was third, beaten 4 3/4. And then first race of the year this year with new trainer Chad Brown. He was third, beaten 6 1/4 in the Tampa Bay Derby. Now, that race hasn't been all that productive. Chancellor McPatrick did not run well in his next start, the Bluegrass. We haven't seen him since. Owen Almighty did not run well in the Bluegrass either. However, he did run very well to run 5th in the Kentucky Derby. So you got to tip your hat to Owen Almighty. And in our Derby recap, I will do just that. Tip the hat to Owen Almighty. But we're talking about Hill Road here. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to back him at a short price. I just don't. So I'm not going to play him in this spot. He's got some proving to do to me. I would have loved to see him run in the Wood to see what happens. I think this is a much easier spot than the Wood, but I don't know. I'd love to see what happens. Both of his races, he fell way behind and he did make up ground, but he was a far cry from winning, either one of them. So I'll let him prove it to me here. I'm not going to play him on top. The number 5 is McAfee. This is a horse that has finished 5th in the Gotham and 5th in the Wood Memorial in his 2 starts this season. He's not really for me in this spot. Nice win on debut, a good second in his second start, and then it just it hasn't really worked out that well when facing Stakes Company. So not for me here. I will say the Wood Memorial, I thought he was okay in that race. I thought he improved in that one, ran okay, but I think he's kind of like Hill Road. I think he's going to drop back, try to make one run, and I'm just not sure that he'll be able to get there. And if I was going to play a closer, I think Hill Road would be the one I would want. All right, let's go to the number 6, Uncaged. This is a horse that had a very good maiden special weight win back on August 3rd at Saratoga. And it was an impressive victory. Then we didn't see him for 211 days. Long layoff, came back and was 3-5 in an allowance at Gulfstream Park. And I was thought, okay, here we go. We're gonna see him. He's back. This should be a nice performance. He was not good whatsoever. However, he did rebound. They took him to Aqueduct next to run an allowance race going 1 mile, so stretching out in distance that time. He ran a lot better. He was a winner by a length and 3/4 in that allowance race at Aqueduct. And look, I really have mixed feelings on what to do with him in this spot, to be honest, because that was more kind of like what we thought from him. He's a curling horse by a pioneer of the mile mare, so stretching out to 2 turns now, going a mile and an eighth. I think that should suit him pretty well. I think that's what he ultimately will want to do. If you cross a line through the allowance, which I'm totally going to do at Gulfstream, this horse has 2 starts, 2 wins, right? So maybe rounded back into his best form here. So we'll kind of see what happens. I think, Irad rode this horse the first 2 times, then Kendrick Carmouche. Last time, Carmouche will stay aboard with Irad on the one Vassimo. I don't know if that's a good sign or not. Maybe they're just kind of rewarding Carmouche for getting that win and getting him to run well. So I'm on the fence with him, as you could tell. I'm kind of going back and forth. I'm flip-flop on Caged a lot here. I think you better play him on your tickets. I don't know if a win ticket makes sense, or actually I would say it does make sense if you want to go that route, but I'm just not sure I'm going to go that route. I maybe kind of just to wait and see. Let's see what he does against this kind of competition. But on a pick 4 or something like that, if you can, depending on how deep you go, maybe so. So we'll kind of just see what happens there. All right, let's go on to the number 7, First Pitch. This horse was beyond bad in his first 2 races at 75-1 and 77-1. This New York bred did no running whatsoever, beaten 51.5 and 30.5 in his first 2 starts. So naturally, what does he do in his third start going a mile and an eighth? He takes him gate to wire at 50-1 for a 4.5 length victory. Yes, I did not say that incorrectly. Gate to wire, 4.5 length victory. So this horse has been 75-1, 77-1, and 50-1. Pretty crazy. Either beating a mile or winning by a mile. So I don't know here. I am not going to play him. He's obviously very erratic, but he did stretch out and run very well. We'll keep an eye on him. Not for me in this race, but we'll keep an eye on him for the future. Maybe New York breds, when he drops back to that company, we'll take a look at him then. All right, let's go to the number 8, Captain Cook, a horse that won the Wither Stakes 2 races back and was 4th in the Wood Memorial, beaten 6 3/4. I thought he actually ran pretty well in that race. To me, like, he was making a pretty big move on Rodriguez, and when he couldn't quite get to him, I think he got discouraged and just quit. I don't think there's a Rodriguez in this field, so I think, if Captain Cook can kind of stalk the pace like he's done in the last 3 races and then make a move and get the lead, I do think he'll run a little bit stronger here. So I liked him last time out. I like him again here, getting a drop down in class. This race seems a lot more like the Withers that he won versus the Wood Memorial that he lost. So I think he's in with a big shot here. I also think he could be the horse that gets the lead here. I don't see a ton of speed. He has stalked the pace in his last, all of his races, really. But he might get the lead here. He looks pretty fast to me on paper, maybe a little bit faster than the rest. All right, let's go to the last 2 now. The number 9, Brittonton's Baytown. And this is a horse that that's kind of been running in tough races there at Oaklawn Park. Ran 8th in the Rebel and 5th in the Arkansas Derby. Well beaten there. Did win a claiming race at Laurel 3 races back. Not for me. Not for me. I think this horse needs class relief. Not sure what we're doing in another stakes here, but here we are. And no, not for me in this one. And then finally, the number 10 is Lordship. This is a horse that broke the maiden for Chad Brown at Tampa Bay Downs. Last time out, that was the debut effort for this horse. Did pretty well. Linked in a quarter victory there. I think from a speed figure standpoint, we haven't really seen, that race doesn't stack up, but Chad Brown horses usually get better as they run. So I do expect improvement. I'm not really worried about the speed figure situation with this horse. I just, it's kind of let's see what happens here. This is kind of the class test. Let's see what he can do. I think he's going to kind of close with Hill Road back there. So hopefully the pace kind of materializes if you like this horse. He was bet down to 7-5 that day, which tells you that, there were some people that liked him. And of course it was a Chad Brown a horse at Tampa. So that they always take money as well. So we'll see. A beautifully bred horse by Gun Runner out of a Giants Causeway mare. And that's kind of the theme, I think, of this race. There's horses like this all up and down the field of 10 that let's take a shot with them and see what happens. I wouldn't be shocked this horse won. But I'm kind of just taking, let's see a wait and see approach. Let's see just how good he is, because we're going to find out right here. All right. That's the field of 10. How about that? Nice to get back to the previews here. I'm going to go with the number 8 Captain Cook to win this one. Like I said, I thought the Wood Memorial race was pretty good, honestly. I really saw a horse that was firing and was trying, and I just think when he couldn't get to Rodriguez, he just he said the heck with it. I don't really want to do this. He also got beat by Grande, a horse who I think's pretty good. So I think this is a good spot for him. I think it's a logical spot. We saw him win the Withers at this distance, and I think this is a similar race to the Withers. It's a little tougher, but it's similar type of field. So look, I think if he pounces this time and he gets that lead, I think he'll kick on a little bit better. So give me the number 8 Captain Cook to win this year's running of the Peter Pan. All right, guys, I'll do it for a preview. Hit the like button if you like the video. Hit subscribe. You really like it. Want to get alerted anytime we do videos like this. And most importantly, good luck if you're playing Belmont at the Big A on Saturday.